Hello, YouTube. My name is Lauren Osier. You've probably never seen me before unless you happen to follow me on TikTok, which is @LaurenOsier, or on Instagram, The Female Foamer. If that is the case, hi, hello, nice to meet you for the first time. I am a rail fan, and I thought, maybe I should branch out to YouTube. I make a lot of videos on TikTok, and I've been wanting to kind of get into more long form, more conversational type videos and more vlog styles, and that's really, TikTok is not the best place for that, for a lot of talking, and so I thought I'd take my shot and try YouTube out. So bear with me. I figure first, I could introduce myself, kind of how I got into all of this. So I have always loved trains ever since I was young. I watched Thomas. I feel like that's how a lot of people my age got started. Thank you, Thomas. I was obsessed with it. My favorite birthday was when my parents took me to a day out with Thomas and Boon for my 4th birthday, and it was amazing. I even had a Thomas the Train cake that year. And growing up in Southeast Iowa, I grew up near Mount Pleasant, Iowa, which, if you're not familiar, has Midwest Old Threshers, and which a subset, kind of its own organization within that, is Midwest Central Railroad. Midwest Central Railroad is a 3-foot narrow gauge operation. They have currently one operating steam engine, but they're in the past have had up to 3 at a time. So they're working on that. And so growing up near Mount Pleasant, I was able to go and drive by I didn't drive. My mom would drive us by the railroad all the time, and I would just look at whatever was out in the yard or what they were doing if they were working that weekend. And I would ride the train all the time. Also, Mount Pleasant is part of BNSF mainline, so my grandma would take my brother and I up to the train tracks on our daily walks when we'd spend days with her, or we'd go wait for Amtrak to go by, the California Zephyr. And so I've always liked them, but I never really was very outward about it to other people, because at the time I thought, oh, it's not normal for girls to like trains. And so I didn't really do anything about it. I really, kind of in my middle school years, I really wanted to be a conductor for the railroad and Midwest Central, and I just couldn't. I couldn't overcome the anxiety and get myself to do it, so I did it. And then my brother actually did it because he also is into trains. And so towards the end of high school, beginning of when I started at community college, I would have to go take him to events, drop him off, and pick him up. And so I started getting into it more, and I realized, you know what? Who cares? Who cares that I like trains? Yes, there is kind of a stigma around being a rail fan nowadays, but you know what? Who cares? If it makes me happy, then why not? And it kind of took me a while to get out of my shell and get into it, but thanks to my brother, I met my now husband, Kendall Osier. He is a big part of Midwest Central, and he and my brother have both just really opened this whole world for me of going to all these different museums, going to ride the different railroads, and it has been amazing. It has been a whirlwind the last 5 years, and it just keeps getting better and better. I started by creating an Instagram for Midwest Central, and then I slowly got more involved. I'd go to work weekends. I'm even a student fireman, so I can fire a steam locomotive, which is pretty bad A in my opinion, and hopefully my goal is to eventually become an engineer. And it's been awesome. We've gone to these different museums the last couple years and meeting all these amazing people in the community. The railfanning and railroad community is just very vast, and there's a wide variety of people, a lot of interesting people with all these different backgrounds, and it's just really fun to hear their stories, see their photos and videos and what they've done. And I'm very happy to be a part of the community. I fully embrace it now. I even call myself the Female Foamer on Instagram, and I'm okay with it, and it's fun, and I'm really excited. 2024, I think, is going to be a whirlwind of a year. We're already a quarter of the way into the year, and it's already been crazy, and it's just gonna keep getting crazy. and I hope to bring you guys along on the journeys to be had this year. So from January until now, this is what has happened so far. In February, we did the Boon and Scenic Valley in Boone, Iowa, their Valentine's dinner train. This was our second year doing it. It is a wonderful experience. It's pulled by an F unit. There's two former Union Pacific dining cars, and they serve you pasta and salad and dessert, and it is delicious. It's a wonderful ride. It's fun going over the very tall high bridge that Boone has and looking over the valley. Highly recommend it if you live in the Iowa or Midwest region. Definitely check out one of their dinner trains. They do them all throughout the year. Then, so excitingness, I'm a graduate student. I am currently pursuing my Master's of Library Science with a focus in archives and preservation. And if you're not familiar, archives is basically kind of like museum collections, but more focused on papers, books, photographs, that sort of thing. And so I saw on Facebook that the Nevada Northern was looking for an archives internship, and I didn't even think it would be possible for me to go out there, but then someone was like, hey, by the way, it has free housing. And I was like, well, maybe this is doable, because my husband and I have a house in Iowa, so paying for two places to live would not have been possible. So I applied and I got it, so I'm moving out to Ely, Nevada to work for Nevada Northern all summer, and then my brother is actually going to be their train operations intern, so he'll be coming along with me. So before heading out there this summer, I'm the type of person, I like to be very prepared. I want to meet the people I'm going to work with. I want to see where I'm going to be. So I actually flew out the first weekend in March. They were so gracious to let me stay in their bunkhouse and attend their photo special that weekend. I had never done a photo charter event before, and it was an awesome experience. I definitely need to work on my photography skills. I have a lot to learn, but thankfully I do have a nice camera, so I wasn't just taking photos with my phone, but I met some amazing photographers, and seeing the work that they have done is just fantastic. I even got to be a model for the night shoot, and that was so much fun. And the whole weekend was amazing. Everyone out there is so nice, and I am so excited to head out there in a month or so. Then after that, we went to Chicago. So I wanted to take the train into Chicago, but we did not get the opportunity to, so I was a little sad. But we went to Chicago and we went to the Museum of Science and Industry. And so at the Museum of Science and Industry, they actually have the New York Central and Hudson 999, which allegedly was the first steam locomotive to hit over 100 miles per hour. So that was super cool to see. The drivers are huge, and it's not even like the original drivers. Like, the original drivers were even bigger, and they were already as tall as me. So that just blows my mind. Also, being on a steam engine going over 100 miles per hour sounds terrifying to me. And so we went and saw that. That was super fun. And then the following weekend, we had a Midwest Central work weekend, and then a group of our friends, we took Amtrak. We went from Galesburg, Illinois to Kewanee, which, if you're not familiar with Illinois or the Midwest, that's only about a 30 minute train ride, so very quick. Round trip, I think our tickets were like $6, but there's several trains throughout the day because it's on the major route to Chicago. So we went to Kewanee, we had breakfast, and then we hopped back on the train, and that was super fun. It was fun to be in the newer Amtrak cars. They're very nice. Like, if all of the Amtrak cars could be this nice, I would not go back on a plane because the seat was so much bigger. So we did that. That was like only my second time on Amtrak. Technically the first time, I don't know if I really count it. I was younger and we begged to go on Amtrak, so my grandma took us from Mount Pleasant to Burlington, which was even shorter than Galesburg to Kewanee, so all I've done are short trips on Amtrak. And then upcoming, so now we're going into what's ahead for the year, what else is left. So we got an email about heading out to Durango. So we are going out to Durango the first weekend in May. I am so excited. All I've done in Colorado is the Colorado Railroad Museum and Pikes Peak. So I haven't really done any of the major tourist railroads. So I'm very excited to go ride DNS, and yeah, I'm excited. I've never been out there. My husband has ridden it, but I have not. We have some friends who work out there too, so it'll be nice to go see them in their place of work. Then after that, the CPKC Empress 2816 will be making its way into Iowa. So currently my plan is to go see it in Davenport. They did just release this week the more updated schedule, and so sadly the date is in Davenport. It will just be stationary. I was kind of hoping like maybe they would be going into Davenport that morning since it's a later in the afternoon meetup. So it's gonna be kind of sad that I won't get to see it run, but it still will be awesome to go see it in Davenport. And then the very next day we fly out to Europe. So before the internship was to be had, we originally last fall booked a cruise to Europe. It was a really good deal. Neither of us has been abroad. So my husband and I are going to Europe on a cruise, but 2 of our excursions have steam engines. So we're going to go see the Molly-Bahn narrow gauge in Germany. And then there's another one we're going to. I'm not even going to try and say it because it is in Danish and I don't feel like butchering it horribly, but it's near Aarhus, Denmark. So I'm very excited to see some European steam. I mean, I've seen a few engines here in the US. Midwest Central actually has a German Henschel. And then I went and saw at Heston in Indiana, they have a Czechoslovakian 2-foot gauge engine, and that's super cute. So I've seen some European here in the US, but I'm really excited to go see European steam over there. So hopefully those will be fun experiences. And then I get back from Europe and immediately head out to Nevada for my internship. And basically, being in Nevada all summer, I'm going to be surrounded by trains every single day. And so that will be fun. A lot of content probably to be had when I'm not working. And I'm really excited for everything that's going to bring. I know for sure one of their themed trains they do is a Roaring Twenties train, and so I did ask if I could have that day off and ride that one because I love any excuse to dress up in vintage clothing. So I will be in head-to-toe 20s or 20s inspired, and I'm very excited about that. And I'll get back right before Midwest Old Threshers, which if you're not familiar, 5 days ending Labor Day, that's when our big thing is for Midwest Central. So I'll be back in time to volunteer and work that. And then later on in the fall, fall is still kind of open at this point, which is probably good because there's a lot happening in a short amount of time in May. And so I'll do the fall fall Halloween trains for Midwest Central and also North Pole Express, and maybe I'll get to sprinkle in a few museum visits in the surrounding Midwest there. So that's currently my plans. That's a lot. I am very aware that is a lot. And I'm so excited. I am excited to see all these different places and all these different things and for what's going to come in the rest of 2024. So I hope you will stick around and follow along on my journey. I don't know if I'll have a consistent posting schedule to begin with, but hopefully maybe as the summer progresses, we'll get some more consistency. But thank you for watching. Yeah, let's go on some train adventures.